Doesn't matter what the scenario is about your genocidal operations through genome sequencing being incorrect, all the scenarios come out with the same conclusions. Yeah, that's true. Whether or not you extracted babies and plugged them into supercomputers, whether or not that happened or didn't, whether or not, anything, any conclusion all comes out to the same conclusions. The genome sequencing is engineered, it's manipulated, and it's wrong. That you should be living the Lord's Prayer immediately. That is deliverance from evil, and it's absolute freedom from human delusions of power and authority and grandeur. So either way, your genome sequencing was wrong. Your science projects gave you the wrong answers. He's going to betray us all. He's going to kill us all. No, you are. Okay. If you get yourself killed because you refuse to live the Lord's Prayer immediately, when you know it's right, and your science project says the technology is going to end up killing you, and it points at me, it's your external locus of control and not mine. I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. I have overwhelming amounts of evidence that I'm right, you're wrong. I'm good, you're bad. I'm truth, you're lie. I mean, we have evidence from China, India, Japan. All the religions point towards living the Lord's Prayer and world unity and truth through the faithful love of Christ. And all the scientific communities and the religious corporations are not doing that. Okay, this isn't a puzzle. There's no contest. There's no game. There's no, what do they call the winner at the Mexican road race? The wiener. So you're all fucked. Okay, you're still trying to use money to do things, to make yourself appear compassionate and merciful. And in the Quran, in the name of the Lord, the all compassionate and all merciful, it's not of you. It's me. That's why Suzuki talks to me. That's why Sun Yat-sen talks to me. That's why Tishna talks to me. That's why they're all talking to me. Because none of you are standing up for the Lord's Prayer, period. Okay? You are what you do. You don't sit around thinking you're outsmarting people and killing people with weapons over money and thinking that you're like me, that Tishna's talking to you. It's not happening. It's a computer program. The only one that's not a computer program is Parsons. They were tracing Parsons, and then they were trying to outmaneuver and out-sequence Parsons because Parsons, according to all the teams that wanted to win, was Rockefeller's and Rothschild's Manchurian Jesus. And they both said, they'll gladly kill over the money and watch you to win. Yeah, they're brain chemical addicts. I can watch, Dancing with the Stars and X-Pro. I can watch Pressure Luck. I can watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I can watch TV. I'm the Messiah and I watch TV. I watch the NFL. I watch football. I watch James play EA Sports. I watch where they went with this. I get everything. You should have turned left in Albuquerque. Yeah, it's a little too late for that now. But the thing about it is I'm in control of quantum computing, and that's what's important. And I've been in control of quantum computing before I went to Cochise County. That's why you guys always kiss my ass. You abuse me because you say it's the will of all the people, Amy's kids, the Nazis, They're related to the people that like the hot blonde in the concentration camp and all that stuff and everything. Amy, we already discussed that, with the Dupavilla stuff. Either get beat into the gang or fucked into the gang. Okay. Now, a woman that allows a man to beat her and then beat the children to get them to comply for sexual reproduction, or a woman that says, no, let's just have sex and do whatever you got to do until they stop doing that. Okay, Amy's radically different than you beat into the gang fuckers. She doesn't want to be beat. She's trying to find a way out of the getting beat. That's your issue. You invented that issue. You will not stand up for the Lord's Prayer. Okay, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm schizophrenic. So remember her on Belmont. I'm like, no, you're not. You all have these kids. No, I can't do it. Okay, and she can't do it. She's not capable. Okay. She cannot guide the kids out of hell. She cannot. She gets all Sophie's choice. So if he doesn't have to have a choice, so he can stand up for the Lord's Prayer. This is the 21st century. We have quantum computing. The whole thing with Natalie, with her Yogi Evan Amy, how do we know there wasn't Jesus and Moses? There was no videotape. Well, Earl's like them, and Earl has videotape, and Earl did it. Okay. And so, this is too, you find yourself wanting to live the Lord's Prayer at least 10 times a day. That's why I tell everybody I meet, focus on that Lord's Prayer. Tell them you want and deserve that, and if they don't do that, that's their issue, and that's because they're more like you than they are like me. Anybody who gets up and focuses on that Lord's Prayer is like me. Anybody who doesn't focus on that Lord's Prayer is a cog in your engine of genocidal operations, because they're like that dude from Schindler's List. I pardon you. And pow, shoot you. Okay. So we know who we're dealing with, and we know what's up. Because I give people the opportunity to be like me, and they pass it up because they're addicted to what you're doing, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. It means there's something wrong with you and them. Okay. You don't allow me contact face to face and to live with. You didn't give me the 350,000 and the Teslas and the Boxables to build the Adobe up during COVID. Okay. You fucked up there. Okay. You fucked up with offering me invitations to the Temple Set Illuminati. No, I tell you what to do. I control quantum computing, not you. You don't tell me what to do. You're trying to take control of quantum computing. You can't. Even if I joined the Temple Set Illuminati, quantum computing would still kill us all because would be wrong with you. God damn, you're dumb. Shit. So you're going to lie to quantum computing, you're going to get me to lie to quantum computing to have sex with Jennifer Lopez rather than live the Lord's Prayer. Seriously? We weren't going to do that. We were going to try to get up there and try to get people to live the Lord's Prayer. I was just going to get them comfortable, to get them out of harm's way, because you abused them and they didn't deserve it, because they're not debt and trespassing on people to be powerful with invention and money. God damn, a dog could figure it out. If you're not going to do that, at least let me protect the people you abused with me. Until the rest of you, the Festivus works it out. And you won't do that even. You can't do anything, you beer snake, sorry-ass motherfuckers. Okay, you know who the fuck you are. Okay. Andre explained it all to me last night. Bam. It's just, God dang. Andre and Uriah. It doesn't matter if they're plugged into computers or if they were aborted. It's still the same soul. God damn, you guys are so dumb. Even if Andre was miscarried, he's still the Stellar to Solomon, and he's still kicking your ass. If you plugged him into a computer, or he was miscarried because his mom freaked out because of economic conflict, either way, it's still a sin from you not doing things right. Okay, Shriners commercials. Okay, St. Jude's. Okay, the bullshit of the money on the Congo. You guys are such dumbasses, man. Want to phone a friend? Want to go 50-50? What's the other one? There's phone a friend, 50-50, and there's one other, but I really don't care. I didn't really pay that much attention. It's not, this is life-changing money. No, what's life-changing is living life and not believing that money is real. That's the apocalypse, dumbass. It's been on hold for most you assholes, because the only thing the apocalypse hasn't been on hold for since Y2K is me and quantum computing. Let's do this. This is the guys, all the perfection of all the truth of all the faithful people is working through this noggin. That's why I'm the Ark of the Covenant. That's why I'm, quote unquote, the Savior. That's why I'm, the Messiah, So. And this isn't something that just started when they invented quantum computing. This is something that's been happening eternally. In the spirit of Adam, Moses, Jesus, John. That's why they had their fools mixed up. It's because of our technology. It's not because of your technology. Your technology has nothing to do with the truth of my faith. All your technology is doing right now is fucking it up. Okay, the quantum computing helps control the fuck ups, but you won't let it. You're like on The Rookie. I'll do my best. Don't do my best. Your best. Do my best. It's like, yeah, live the Lord's Prayer, you little supermodel cuntilingus face. Okay, yeah, don't do your best. Do my best. Right? All you rookies out there, stop pretending to be something you're not for the dysfunction of fucking kill money. Don't do your best. Do my best. Right? That's what we'll label this one, right? Don't do your best, do my best. I said forgive debt and trespass, love one another. People. Make that your best. That's your best. Okay. Otherwise, there is no best. You're worst. If you're not first, you're last. Okay. If you're not standing up for the Lord's Prayer, you're like, he was drunk. Don't listen to him. He's going to put some Captain Crunch under your wheelbarrow and have you run from the cops with a cougar in your car, right? And shit. Oh, fuck. It's in the bone, Ricky Bobby. It's in the bone. You're all dumb, man. Spaboni. There's a bear loose in the Coliseum. Okay. Got a bank with big check cashing department. So we got this. So I'm good. Let's see what happens. I'll check on IBM Watson and see if we change some dynamics there with the connecting universities. I'm not going to press my luck. I don't care about whammies. If not, we'll look at another thing, and then, we'll take care of that, and then I'm tough. I can suffer through hell. That's all of Asia. Okay, that's Suzuki and Sun Yat-sen and Krishnamurti, and all those people connected together because it's Buddhism, So, yeah, all of Asia, survive, stop, eliminate abuse. That's a lot of help. From the faithful fathers of India, China, and Japan. That's a lot of people. That's influencing cousins in Korea and Kashmir and in Tibet. And yeah, in Tibet, they're supposed to be acting like Krishnamurti, who me and him have been talking, say what you know through the signals. So yeah, that's a lot of people. That's a whole lot of people depending on Earl to make sure it gets done right. When looking for the sun in the middle of the night, but you couldn't get it right. No, you couldn't get it right. So that's a lot of people. Okay. Good old David Rockefeller. I'm feeling his voice today working through me. Okay, I'm going to go back to Earl, man. Go back to Earl, David. Thanks, bro. Thank you. Thank you for wanting to get out of hell with all your might. David and Philip Rothschild. Thanks, man. You guys went and told, just when they think Dumb and Dumber, just when you think you can't get any dumber, you go and do this and totally redeem yourselves. No, man, they kept telling me in Sierra Vista, and I was like, no, it can't be true. I was so attached to the mind fuck of the Temple Set Illuminati of the Von DiCarlo, at the end of the rainbow thing. I was so attached to that pot of gold, man. You got to forgive me. I was a 4-year-old little boy being mind fucked by the most seductive, manipulative people in the history of the world, and they're still doing it. They're still filling the arenas. They're still doing charities they're still hugging each other for money on TV instead of standing up for the Lord's Prayer. And so you got to understand, well, they murdered the one guy I wanted to meet the most that was a celebrity was murdered in 2000 and was it 10? Was Guru killed in 2010? I think so. He was the one I was most excited to meet. I already met Dennis Johnson. Okay, so met Dennis Johnson. They killed Dennis Johnson shortly after too. But of heart disease and complications for his life. Hey guys, if they in 2009 just lived the Lord's Prayer, okay. Well, that seems like the most intelligent thing to do. Yeah, but we've got artificial intelligence globally now connecting banking. Oh, snap. Yeah, that's really, 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 that's be as crazy and stupid as you possibly can be and keep going. Yeah, and that ain't happening. No, that ain't working. That's the way you do it. I don't care if I don't ever meet Sting. I don't care if I don't even meet any of the Spider-Mans or nothing. I don't care about that. That's not important to me. As long as people in Poughkeepsie and Kalamazoo and Cucamonga are all living the Lord's Prayer simultaneously, that's all that matters to her. I was like with my wife, so all I care about is that you're healthy and happy. The girls in the service. I could be the greatest lover in the world, and if only her and me knew it, that's all right with me. And that's all right, mama. That's all right with me. So we're going to be all right. I could be one of the greatest singers of all time if I just sat and worked at it. And if only people knew were the people that sang with me at the the Recall and the Gila, in the Adobe and the Gila. That's all right, Mama. That's all right with me. Be one of the best dancers after he recovers from chemical poisoning, in the history of bitches doing it for money on TV. And if only me and my family know, that's all right with me, man. That's the best of all worlds. Poughkeepsie, Kalamazoo, and Cucamonga too. Yep, 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 yep. From Tampico to yes, sir, yes, sir. To Juneau, yeah. Okay, so we got this. So okay, Cantaloupes in Kelowna. Yeah, we feel all right. Yeah, feeling all right. Not feeling that good myself. I was wondering why they were playing in Kelowna. Oh, it's because of the world, the FIVA. FIVA paid a buttload of money to rent the stadium and for the things, and so they were making a buttload of money off of soccer. That's why they were playing in Kelowna. It wasn't to do like they do in the Maritimes or in Vancouver or whatever and stuff like that. And they probably went to the place that would they thought would pack the stadium and wouldn't charge them a buttload of money to like rent or play in the stadium, so they would be lucrative for them. So you know how business people are. That's all right, Mama. So you'd be watching, going, "Oh, okay, that's why they're having this little love affair in Kamloops and Kelowna." Okay, tell something with this love affair. Was that SOS Band? I don't know, or Chic. I can't remember. Tell me if you still care about me. That's the SOS Band, right? I think so. Okay, it's not that important. I'm just, my brain is just bouncing around a little bit. Well, it's been getting beat up by the worst perverts in the history of the world, but it's going away. I wake up in the middle of the night and it's pow, my dreams and pow. My immune system gets compromised, and it's like, how many of, I don't want to know. I don't want to know how many people they keep ordering the manipulation through economics, through the people in this valley that are compromising my immune system through bad economic influence. I don't want to know how many outside of the realm of still getting manipulated here are getting exterminated immediately. LY. That's none of my business. It's a lot like the fox with the rooster. You go do what you got to do, man. I got to get some sleep. Right? You know me. That's how I was this morning. I got to sleep. Yeah. So I was like, I was telling Uriah and Andre, I trust you. You're the spirit of, if they, I believe that they did, and so, you take, it says in that one, Ray talked to me about the curse of Solomon and all that, and I panicked for Patrick. And Uriah completely understood because, with the whole plug-in thing, you don't really panic about what's happening to your physical kid that's getting tortured with you in a physical body that people are aware of and can get up and live the Lord's Prayer to do something about. If people are plugged into computers before they're born and there's nothing you can do about it, you just, what kind of options do you have for them, especially if you're dealing with perverts that will, go to an elementary school, and if I can't fuck her, nobody can fuck her, and you're going to have to get through all the kids in the elementary school before you get through here and put me on the ground so I stop mind fucking kids into becoming philanthropists. So, you're talking about some people that are, so he understands completely. He was, the position he's in, he understands exactly what I'm dealing with, and he talks me through it better than I can talk him through what's going on with him. He has a virtual presence into, he's plugged into a computer, and that's the thing, is the redemption. It's not so much the redemption, it's the understanding of Uriah and his mother and the women that are the bitchy women. My mom told me that. My mom told me, Earl, if you stand up to the bitchy men, if a woman does it, she's hysterical, and she's just being hysterical, and they, we got to fuck her back into the gang, which they can do. They Stockholm syndrome them. I will kill your children, and women will give in, like Lilith and Eve. But Adam, no. Lucifer, that bitch ain't, And the only way that bitch could stay alive was because Adam was his brother, and Adam would protect him when he'd go around and piss everybody off and fuck everybody else's girl, and like Lucifer does, and Lucifer's still doing. And then so now there's quantum computing. Okay. So there's nothing that, because Lucifer invented quantum computing to replace Adam as his protection. There's nothing Adam can do to protect Lucifer from his own invention. And so, that's when you try to look at your brother and go, that's all right, mama. That's all right with me. You did it, man. I told you not to. I was going to beat you. I know you were going to beat me, but I wasn't going to beat you. Love thy neighbor as thyself, love thy enemy. The big thing was, I think we lived on Austin when Dad was getting real nervous and paranoid about he was having a difficult situation with Mom and Pancha. And he was nervous and paranoid that the government was watching him. Somebody locally must have said something, because it's White Sands, to get after him. He was wrong and he was out of line and he was inappropriate and they were going to get him, So he was scared and he came home, he's talking to me at home. He said, the government's watching our house. And like with my thing with Natalie, so the government's watching our house. Yeah. Aren't you worried about it? No, I'm not trying to, manipulate you and sell you for, I'm not Ruby's parents. I'm not Elon Musk's dad. I'm not Barron Trump's dad. I'm not Melania and Sasha's dad and mom. I'm not Hunter Biden's parents. I'm not worried. I ain't got nothing to worry. I got nothing to lose, except for correct quantum computing and correct all the computing that connected to quantum computing, so we can live the Lord's Prayer. So that's the only thing I've got going on in my house with the surveillance equipment here there. So that works out really good for me. And that was, me and Dad were talking about that. And he said, Earl, and he told me about how evil and terrible David Rockefeller was. And I said, well, Dad, see, the big thing about society is in global, movements of human beings, you cannot change society, like Lucy Parsons. Don't be fooled into believing that the wealthy will simply let you vote their wealth away. I said it, and they were both listening. David Rockefeller and Philip Rothschild. I said, I cannot change the problem with what's happening in the world today. I said this to my father. I was like 17. I think it was on Austin. And Mom told me about it because it was when I came back from Wyoming. Okay, I'd gone to Wyoming and things got a little hairy-carry in the house. Mom explained it to me later. When I wasn't there, it wasn't as nice in the house. So Mom missed me and was crying, because Earl was gone, but she definitely wanted me back. She liked me in the house better. Everything worked and felt safer in the house when I was there. And I get it, And so everything works better. It functions better. It's like having that little guardian angel in the house that, hey, you better do right. I'm here. I'm watching. I'm present. I'm the gracious good shepherd. I got counted Kuan 6 times in one night by the Colvilles. It's like he counted Kuan. Been counted Kuan so many times that you wouldn't believe it. And so, but yeah, and so I sat there and told him. I said, you cannot change, from the bottom up. You have to do it from the top down. So somehow I've got to get from top down, and I'm not going to do that. So I don't know how that's going to happen, Dad. I'm going to have to be from the top down instead of the bottom up. And that's the only way you can change all this. Well, David and Philip heard. And they let, Lucifer do his science projects and try to win with the science projects. And they gave Lucifer the option, hey, be like Joseph and totally redeem the Canaanites, Cain, or you're not able. And that's what they did. They heard me. It's basically, the only way out of this hell is if, I'm in some way to be at the top instead of at the bottom. The lowest of the low is the highest of the high. Love thy neighbor. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love thy enemy, Forgive them 7 times upon infinity. So I needed to be put in that position, what they did with quantum computing at the turn of the millennium. So that's already been done. And then when we went to Phoenix, I was thinking about that last night in the barn while I was shooting hoops too. We went to Phoenix, and the way Mom would handle Patrice. Patrice did not like Mae Smith. My sisters did not like Mae Smith. The way my mom would handle my sisters being bitchy and attacking Earl all the time was Mae. The only thing we didn't get taken care of was my bed, sleeping on the floor, because I always had the bunk beds until the bunk beds just got to where they, it was too big and they'd be on the floor, and stuff. Like with Chuck Valley, I want the top bunk. Oh, that's why Chuck wanted the top. And I told him, no way, I ain't sleeping with your ass in my face all night. Because you hit the floor. Yeah, he's 215 pounds. It was uncomfortable in that big old bunk bed for big old Chuck. Yeah, so I see why he wanted the top, because it would be like a hammock and it'd be more comfortable. Yeah, I didn't see it. I was just told him, no, I'm sleeping on the top. Ain't no way I'm sleeping all night with your ass in my face. It's not going to happen. You're 215 pounds. I'm 140. I get the top bunk. You get the bottom. It's just logistics, Bally. It's just logistics, You don't have you don't have 400 pounds sitting on top of a baby over the, no. I'm 140, 215. No, dog. It ain't happening. It's like, no, I'm sleeping on top bunk. Yeah, everybody can see my, I'm like Josh Baskin, but I get the top, right? So, yeah. I always slept on the top anyway. It was up by the window. And I had the window, so fresh air coming through the window and stuff. So I've been this way for a long time, as far as sleeping next to the window and like fresh air. Yeah, I've been this way for a long time. G-Force. But, Mae was the one that would always come in, like when we moved to Phoenix, and I was going to give Patrice the bigger room. I didn't care. And Mae would always come in. It's like, no. And she would explain logistics. She would sit there and go, no, you're 4 years younger. When he moves out, you'll get this for 4 years. And, so, you give it to the oldest kid and then you pass it up. And when the other kid's like 4 years younger, he, technically when we got this, he had it for 4 years and you get it for 4. So it's fair. But it didn't compute with Teresa and Ira. No. Fair to them is, I get my way and they're more like a cat, like Betsy. I get the bowl first always because I can kick your ass. You can't kick my ass. I just let you think you can kick my ass because I love thy enemy, love thy neighbor as thyself. I kick your ass anytime I want to. I just don't. Well, because I'm a kind and compassionate, caring person, Share, care, given, of course, need, built to last. I'm the seed of Proverbs, heart of Psalms, So, yeah. But Mae was like that. Yeah, Mae was cool. Dad wasn't too fond of Mae either. She came in and kind of ran the place and established, some. But he was, but he wasn't. He didn't like the fact that she was like Betsy. He came in and, he kind of like, okay. He acquiesced to her because she was a lot like Betsy when it came to that stuff. But when Mae did it, she looked at the situation and she squashed all the selfishness. And that's why Dad liked her. He just wished he could do it, but no. Mom would bring in Mae, and Mae would do it. Here's what we're gonna do, and that's what we do, and that's why I liked Mae. She was, but I was like, yeah, that's cool, and I was like, I'm gonna, she's gonna leave, and I'm gonna pay for this, and she's gonna be bitchy to me, and come in the room, steal my stuff, and take my clothes, and wear my shirts, and tear them up, and wear my shoes, and tear them up, and yeah. Oh, she did, yeah. All the clothes that you had, girls like guys' clothes. All the clothes that I had that Patrice liked, And then when I'd do the same back, hey, because she'd wear clothes that were guys' clothes, or I'd take and borrow her shoes after she tore my shoes up, And then after I wore them, I'd put them back into her room. You went into my room. Yeah, I went into your room to get my shit out of it. Okay, but to put your shit back in that I used of yours and washed and cleaned up and put back after I used it. Well, I was raised by Ralph Parsons, leave the campsite better than you found it. I'm sorry, I'm strange, If I tore it up, I would buy her a new one. That's the type of person I am. If I borrow somebody's something, like what happened with Val's tapes and stuff like that, I go buy a new one and replace it. If you're borrowing something and somebody's like, oh, damn, this sucks. Now I got to go find a way to get more money and go replace that. I'm my dad's boy. I'm Ralph's boy, Those 10 Commandments, yeah, okay, So, that's what he held, and he adhered to him to the best of his ability, and that's what I did, and it was acceptable to me. I thought my sisters were stupid and still are. Okay, I thought they were stupid. They're stupid. Okay, money's real. They'll keep us safe with money. We got to kill all the people that are trying to take away our money. We need money to live. And my sisters are still like that. They are stupid. It's not I thought they were stupid. They are. Okay. 10 Commandments, they're like Francesca. How do we know Moses even exists? Jesus is God. If Jesus wants to change the 10 Commandments tomorrow, he will, according to the people that program us at our church, and then vote for their president. Right. Son of a bitch. How much money does it take to get to the moon? None. If you need to go to the moon, you'll get there. If you don't, you won't. Mars, same thing. If you need to go there, you'll get there. If you don't, you won't. Think positive. Think you don't need to go there. Think the little kid from Tomorrow People. But I don't want to go look for another place to live. I want to take care of this one. Yeah. Tomorrow People, where is your past? Tomorrow People. You're always being ambitious and looking what you can do in the future instead of looking at what you can do right today to make the future better today. Lord's Prayer, all the way. Right. So you know me. And so, I've already done it. And when I'm saying that I have taken control of quantum computing and I'm taking more control of it every day, I'm not bragging. I'm letting people know what I'm doing. I'll tell you exactly what I did, exactly what I'm doing, and exactly what I'm going to do. Some of you don't even make a good pair of slippers. You got dinosaurs, alligator slippers. You're crazy. So, you're going to do your thing. I'm okay. My Amy helps me through. She'll help keep my prostate going while I survive, stop, eliminate, abuse, recover. And then as far as recovery goes, we'll find out, who's on that end of that. I'm not trying to be surprised. I don't like surprises, but I'm just trying to get people through, and that's their decision and not mine. Okay. So if you choose to, be killed by drones and robotics technologies because you want to try to lie to quantum computing, that's your business. You go handle your business. I ain't going to talk about your business because I ain't listening to your business, right? So my thing, she did Zero Suzuki. Asia gave me DT Suzuki as a meditation partner, and he worked on it. He was devoted to it to save the people from Asia from their enemies in Europa, so as we could have global peace and live Islam globally. So, you focus, you see it, pull it, cut it. You survive, stop, eliminate, abuse, recover. So yeah. So he still tells me that. Yeah, there might be a beautiful Japanese woman who, oh yeah, I understand that. Yeah, or younger or more, or yeah, I don't know how that all works. I don't know what kind of condition in. I don't know what kind of affection and love I'll need to fully recover. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But he says it might be Japanese women. And I was like, okay, could they look a lot like the girl who plays Mariko? Yeah. They could. Okay. It's, I go to people, you're shallow. No, it's like I told the girls in the service, when Dot told me, if all you talk, Parsons, if you're a breakup of law, I better see you with an ugly girl. It's like, well, I don't want to be with an unfaithful, selfish woman. I want to be with a faithful, selfish woman. But if she's freaking gorgeous, I'm like, thank you, Lord. Thank you. Well, you said you'd help, make your own angels. Yeah, I didn't create them. I just helped, them see the light. Yeah, I saw the light. So yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I don't think about that, but Amy, what does she look like? She looks like this. Wow, yeah, that'll help Amy. Yeah, she's so cute. Oh, she's so hot. Okay, you're not supposed to be here. That's why I don't do that. We look at possibilities of what would have happened in the past if I would have sold out, and we would be all getting killed by drones and if we were all Orwelling and Asimoving. That's why they're not the Messiah. I am. It's okay. If you don't figure it out, it's being figured out. It's already been figured out for you. It's not a question of if. It's just a question of the when. And not bigger than Xavier Cugat, the Mambo King, right? Seeing it eye to eye, the perfect cast. So, we're already good. It's just, I just hate people being trapped by technology and abused by technology and not having access to me. But that's their issue, not mine. So, Oh, that reminds me, I gotta get showered up and shaved off and then go see hi, so in case there is any hi. So if there's not, I'll be like, oh, darn, no little highs. That sucks. They're so cute. There will be cuties there. We'll just see what kind of mood they're in and what kind of mood mindfuck your fuckers are in with their, we're what sands, we're, data centers. They already have them here. Yeah, data centers, whatever you want to call them. Hey guys, that's White Sands, and that's Fort Bliss. Okay, this is happening. It's like, okay, those are the ones that that. Okay, you must be a special lady. Let's read too slow. In the beginning, there was a word. Forgive, dead, and trespass. Love one, zero, okay, I love you. Share, care, give, and score. Need built to last. All right, I'll read to you slow. Okay, peace out.